Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. Now this one is the 9th of my Guilty Pleasures series. Will I actually make 10? I don't know. But this time it's going to be Dollar. Now Dollar were a duo of Teresa Bazar and David Van Day, and originally they were part of a pop group called Guys and Dolls way back in the mid-70s. And if you see the two actually in the middle, the two smaller ones, that's because they're furthest away. I think they were quite small as well, are Teresa and David. Now they did two albums with Guys and Dolls. This one which features the big hit There's a Whole Lot of Lovin', which is really good. I haven't played the rest of the album, I bought it for that song. And they were also on their second album, which I don't have. But they got fired from the band, I'm not too sure why, and the Guys and Dolls went down to being a four-piece. So they formed Dollar. Now I remember Dollar in the charts. I was never a fan. I didn't dislike them, I just thought they were sort of pop fluff. There were no Bucks Fizz, put it that way, there were no Bucks Fizz. But I did enjoy a few of their singles, and I bought a couple at the time, like Give Me Back My Heart and Mirror Mirror. I thought they were very, very good, but never bought any of their albums or any of the other singles. However, I did actually buy two CDs about 10 years ago. Now you had to buy two different Dollar CDs to get all the hits because they were in two different labels. First Carrera, and then they were on Warner Brothers. So if you wanted all the hit singles, you needed the two. And I bought them, played that singles, that was it. And it was only in the last couple of years or so I started playing those CDs, and I thought they were absolutely brilliant. So I went mad and I bought all their albums and I sought out all their singles. So we'll go through them, and they started off with their very first single in 1978, and it was a number 14 hit, and it's Shooting Star. And this is a really, really good pop song. Excellent. Yeah, by this time Guys and Dolls weren't having hits at all, so they got one up for getting a sack. Yeah, so great song, number 14 from 1978. Their second single, however, also got to number 14 in 1979, and this is absolutely brilliant. It's Who Were You With in the Moonlight. I think this is fantastic. There's a B-side on this called Star Control, which is also on their first album. It sounds as if it could have come from ELO's time. Really good pop music. It's not cheesy. You would think it would be cheesy with the boy and the girl, and it looks cheesy, but it's not. It's just very, very good pop songs. And their third single, this time from 1979, also got to number 4, and it's Love's Got a Hold on Me, and this was written by Teresa Bazar and David Van Day. Now I think Teresa Bazar had the main writing on it because I saw an interview with her, and she said it was very based on the Bee Gees' How Deep Is Your Love. It is a ballad, and yes, it is very influenced by How Deep Is Your Love, but it's a really good song and deservedly got to number 4. Then they released their first album, and it's called Shooting Stars, and this is a really good album. This is the original cover. Now it was re-released as the very best of Dollar, which I'll come to. This is the Carrera album, and it has those singles plus the brilliant Ring Ring, which I'll also come to because it was re-released as a single, and the fantastic Love Street, also released as a single later on. It opens up with a song called Overture, which is very proggy, can you believe it? Very proggy instrumental. It sounds as if it should be opening one of the Moody Blues albums, but without Graham Edge's or Mike Pinder's voice. It is really weird, but it is so good. Tokyo is a very good song as well. I Need Your Love is probably the weakest of all the songs. It's the most bland, but this is an absolute stonking album. I think this is really, really good. And this got to number 36 in the charts when it was released in 79. They then released a cover of the Beatles' I Want to Hold Your Hand. Now I used to hate this. I actually do quite like it now. I think it's quite good. Yeah, and it got top 10, got to number 9 in the charts. And it's a faithful version, but it's a modern version in 1979, considering it was only 15 years between this and the original. Now, if you take 15 years away from now, you're talking about 2007. You know, it makes you wonder. But a really, really good version. I really do enjoy this now. After that, they assigned to Warner Brothers, and the first single to come out with Warner Brothers, and it didn't chart, is called "The Girls Are Out to Get You," and this is really good. This is a very sort of almost 50s type throwback with a wee bit of rock and roll in it. Very, very catchy, and unfortunately did nothing in the charts, but they did get into the charts with their second single on Warner Brothers, and it's the beautiful ballad "Taking a Chance on You," which is a really, really good song. And you can see Teresa has put a bit of dye in her hair. She was a brunette, now she's sort of like a dirty blonde, but then she becomes a really bleached blonde. But they're getting more like the dollar that you would know or remember from the very early 80s. But really good song. And the third single from the Warner Brothers years was "You Take My Breath Away." It's a really catchy, almost calypso Caribbean type song. I think it's excellent. And the beauty of those three singles and all the songs from their second album, the Paris Collection, is that they were written by Teresa and David, and the songs are really strong. This is more of a rocky type album, and you can see by the cover as well, whenever they're wearing their leather jackets and so forth. The first side is known as the Spring Collection, which is the most upbeat of the songs, and then the second side is the Autumn Collection, which is a little bit more sort of relaxed. Radio, fantastic opener. Young Love is a great rocker. Love at First Sight's really good fun. And then you get, as I say, Taking a Chance on You. Ebony's very good. The last couple of songs are not quite as good. Don't Change Your Mind or Heartbeat. But still, it's a really strong album, and unfortunately this failed to chart. And it's a pity, because it's a really good follow-up to their debut. Then along came Trevor Horn, and he wrote 4 songs for them and produced them, and the first one to come out in 1981 was Handheld in Black and White, which is a perfect pop song, got to number 19. Really, really good, and it was to feature on their next album, which I will come to. And the second one, which is probably their most famous song, and it's Mirror Mirror, and this got to number 4 in the charts. Really cool little video, love the sleeve, and as you can see, Teresa's hair is as white as snow now. But excellent, catchy song, written and produced by Trevor Horn. And because they were having success, Carrera then re-released a couple of the singles. The first one was Love Street from their debut album, and this is like a take on Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. It's that type of song, and it's so good, it's so catchy, and it deserved to chart, but it failed. And they also then released Ring Ring from the same album. Absolutely brilliant song. Not as good as ABBA's Ring Ring, but it's not far away. Really excellent single, and this one did actually chart and got to number 61. So Carrera then re-released their debut album and called it The Very Best of Dollar, and this is exactly the same as the first album, but what they did was they took side 2 from the first album and made it side 1, and they took side 1 from the first album and made it side 2, and then they added I Want to Hold Your Hand on at the end. So really it's the first album plus I Want to Hold Your Hand. So this was released in 1981, or was it 82? It was 82. Also in 82 we have the third of the Trevor Horn singles, and it's Give Me Back My Heart, and this is one of the ones I bought when it came out. This is an absolutely fantastic ballad. Teresa Bazar's vocals, a lot of people think she can't sing. She can, but she doesn't have a strong voice. She's got a wispy voice, and to hear the effectiveness of her voice, just listen to the end of this. Whenever the backing vocals are going and she is doing a counter melody at the very end, it is so effective. It is really good, and this is an absolutely beautiful love song. Excellent. And it got to number 4 in the charts. And then the fourth, and probably the most lauded single by Trevor Horn, and it's my least favourite in its video take. Everybody seems to love this. I like it, but I don't think it is that brilliant. It's very overproduced, you know, everything's in this, including the kitchen sink, but it's a decent song. And so it's 4 Trevor Horn singles that were all to feature on their new album. However, that was it. He only did the 4 songs, and the new album came out near the end of 1982 called the Dollar Album. So what they had to do is they had to fill up the rest of the album themselves with their own songs, and to be honest, they did a pretty damn good job of it. The 2 highlights are Pink and Blue, which I think Teresa wrote the most of, if not all of it, and then there's a really catchy number called Anyone Who's Anyone, which is extremely good as well. This is a good album, but this is my least favourite of the 3 albums, even though it does contain the 4 Trevor Horn singles. A 5th single was taken from the album, and it was Give Me Some Kind of Magic, which is not a bad song. It is a bizarre stroke Van Day song, but it's nothing brilliant, and it's one of their weaker singles overall. So that was it for Dollar. In 1983, I remember David Van Day released a song called Young Americans Talking, which was pretty rubbish. And then, well, what I can remember of, and then Teresa Bizarre actually released a solo album called The Big Kiss in 1986, I believe, or 1985. And this is actually not bad. It's all co-written by Teresa. It's produced by Arif Martin, and the songs like The Big Kiss, I See It in Your Eyes, they're good. She does a different version of Give Me Back My Heart on this as well. It's nothing overly special, but it's pleasant to the ears. I only got this recently, and I've only played it a couple of times, but put it this way, it made me play it again because I did enjoy it. So The Big Kiss came out in 1985 actually. So that was it for Dollar until 1986, and then they released another single that got to number 62, and it's called We Walked in Love, and this is magnificent, and this sounds like it has come from 86, but it's a brilliant song and should have been a top 10 hit. They followed that up with the song Haven't We Said Goodbye Before, which is quite the opposite. It's not very good at all. I just don't rate this. This is a double pack, and you actually do get Shooting Star with this as well. But it's okay. It's very bland. However, then they did have chart success again in 1987 with their version of Erasure's O L'Amour, and it's got to number 7 in the charts, and I think this is really good. I love that song, and I think this is better than Erasure's version, so O L'Amour. And then the last single, which is okay but nothing spectacular, from 1988, and it's called It's Nature's Way. Okay, but nothing brilliant. So that was it, and I think Teresa then moved off and lived in Australia. I saw an interview with her about a month ago. I think it was recorded about 5 years ago, when she was talking to Cherry Red Records. I think they re-released all their material, or as a box set. And what a beautiful woman. Really well spoken, really humble, and yeah, you could just listen to her all night. She was great. And she was talking about the days of Guys and Dolls, and then Dollar, and then David Van Day disappearing and all the rest of it. But really interesting video. I would check it out on YouTube if you're interested, and it helped me, you know, go through all this for this Guilty Pleasures. I don't particularly like calling Dollar a guilty pleasure, although everybody would think they are. They're a surprise because their music is far better than you would think. And I'm going to make a bold statement here, and everybody knows I'm a huge Bucks Fizz fan, but the $3 albums are better than the 3 best Bucks Fizz albums in my view. I've been blown away by them, especially Shooting Stars and the Paris Collection. So there's my video on Dollar, my number 9 guilty pleasures. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to have another video quite soon. All the best now. Bye bye.